Ding dong. Welcome back to another episode. Today we're reviewing The Irishman. I'm here with my co-host Davis.
Hello.
Myself, Nate. Can you tell us what was this movie about?
Well, it's the 3.5-hour tale, very long, of essentially, was it Jimmy Hoffa, essentially, would be the main character, played by Al Pacino. And then it has Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci kind of co-starring, and the movie centers around these three characters and just kind of their whole entire life story from like young versions.
Their entire life. It starts when they were a baby.
Yeah.
Because that's how long this freaking movie is.
Feels like it at some points.
And it ends in a retirement home.
Yep, quite literally. Yeah. So it kind of follows their journey from entering the mob corruption world to literal retirement. And
I kind of thought that when you see him in the retirement home, he'd be like talking to his grandson, be like, "Yeah, I used to be a mobster." Oh, okay, Grandpa. And maybe he's like playing bingo throughout the entire movie. That's just the image I had in my head.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, but it's based off the book. What's it called? I Paint Houses, essentially. And Robert De Niro's character, I guess that's like his autobiography, I believe. So that's what the whole movie is based off that. And it's been one that Scorsese, who directed it, has been wanting to make for like forever, I guess. But just studios said no, because they said it wouldn't do good.
Yeah, I don't think it would have done good.
Yeah, that is a kind of hard pitch to put. Like,
it's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah, just going into it, I feel like they could have cut a good half hour out of this, like, and condensed it a little more.
I feel like they could have started where Jimmy Hoffa's character comes in.
Yeah, I think that would have been good.
And that was like a whole hour before you even meet him.
Yeah, and then maybe just like pepper in, because I mean they didn't really stick to like a strict timeline, so they could have just started there and then went back just to show the few scenes of how like Robert De Niro's character got into the world, essentially, because those things I thought were good, like when he's with Ray Romano in like the courtroom,
right?
And he's like, "You ever hit anybody?" And he goes, "On the job." He goes, "Yes, on the job," or whatever, and he's like, "No."
Yeah. Do you remember how like they montage in like the beginning of like The Departed?
Yeah,
they could have did it like that.
Yeah, and it would have saved a lot of time, and he can do it, obviously, because he did it in The Departed. So yeah, I think that would have been a good way.
Yeah.
But overall, what'd you think of like acting? How do you feel this was acted?
It felt like I was watching just a bunch of, I mean, they're great actors. Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it felt like they were just going through the motions in some ways.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, because they shot this with like 3 cameras at once, so they could do their de-aging software without putting like, the motion tractors on their face. Sometimes I wonder if like you lose some of the emotion when you have a CGI Robert De Niro face.
Yeah, maybe so. Because he kind of felt really stiff.
Yeah, and like even though you can't...
Even more so than he usually is.
Yeah, and you can't really... Maybe that's like a subconscious thing that you can't pick up on, but it's there just because of that. Because there's certain like just CGI, I feel like, takes a lot of the emotion out of characters, unless you do something great like a Smeagol or something from Lord of the Rings that are like the select exceptions to the rules. But yeah, acting wise, I would say all good, because they're all good actors. Like there's no bad actors. Like, but is it like worth the hype that the movie's been given with now all the Oscar buzz of each of the?
It
people?
Almost felt like, to me, it was just like a reunion tour.
Yeah.
Let's get our group back together.
I mean, they brought Joe Pesci out of retirement.
let's get the band back together, guys. Like let's just do it one last time or whatever.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's what the movie felt to me. It wasn't bad, but it was like trying to relive the glory days.
Yeah. And it's hard too, because I think like recently Scorsese, like just with like Wolf of Wall Street and all that stuff, like, which I thought was personally way better than this, like just all that energy he injects in those, like his previous films.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I don't even think, if you were to tell somebody to watch Wolf of Wall Street in this movie, I don't think people and didn't tell them that these were directed by the same people, same person, I don't think people would actually even know.
Yeah. And I think what also makes it kind of weird is like, because it's Scorsese, like he's done this movie before, but better already. So it's hard when because you're going to instantly compare it to like Casino or The Departed or just any of his mobster style movies that
He did Goodfellas, right?
yeah, Goodfellas too. And I view all three of those as like better than this because I'd rewatch them. But this one, I don't know if I would ever go back to or have the time to go back to.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if you're a super Scorsese fan, go ahead and watch it. I think the biggest problem in the movie is that there was no story arc, or there was no, not story arc. I think the biggest problem with the film was the fact that, what's De Niro's character had no arc.
I think Frank, right?
Right.
Because I mean, he has a subtle arc at the ending where he comes back to be like, "This was bad, my decisions." Because when he's talking to the priest, he like says a lot of things like, "Can a man come back from his bad things that he does?" But even then, he really doesn't care. Like,
yeah, like I feel like the movie tried to make the family more important, but that should have been like the core of the story, like his relationship with his family.
And they really, other than the one daughter, were just kind of like extras.
And yeah, and the only thing you get from that daughter is just stares.
Dad, I don't like you.
It was like, this could have been so much better.
Yeah, I feel like if they would have, like, it's hard to say because it's already very condensed on just those three characters, but I feel like if they would have just focused more on the family and less on Pacino, and then made his feelings for Pacino expressed like through how he acts with the family instead of through Pacino, because I feel like you lose a lot of the emotional pull of why he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah, he's doing it for his family, but like,
because if he's doing it for his family, show that, like, show more of the family stuff, because from the film
but he has like zero relationship with his family. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, his wife's total character for the movie is kind of like, I'm a woman and I'm here.
Yeah,
like there's no dimension. The other two, or how many, I don't remember how many daughters.
I think he had 4 daughters, but I only knew he had 1 or 2.
Yeah, and even them, they're very flat, and their only note that they play is one's like, I ignore your bad things, and the other one's like, I see them and I don't like them, and that's all you get from them. I don't know.
That was, this movie's 3.5 hours long, and you couldn't have fit in a character story with his family.
Yeah, I don't understand how. I just feel like if they needed to condense some of the other things and expand on more of that stuff just to give you that emotional pull, and that would have helped so much.
Yep, that's, yeah, true. So you know how Quentin Tarantino did his Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Like, that movie was Quentin's kind of baby that he's been waiting to make forever. And I feel like he accomplished that way better than Scorsese did this.
Yeah. I just feel like Scorsese, camera movements, perfect. I think technically it's a perfect film. Like from a technical standpoint, just like basic filmmaking, I think he just lacks like the emotional pull, I guess, or like the energy like he had in like a Wolf of Wall Street, like the life in the film, I guess. Like it felt very dead, if that makes sense. But like, he's still an amazing filmmaker, not knocking it, still better than half the crap that comes out these days. But, I just think he's missing kind of that, whatever, that extra something that always sets him over the edge in this one.
Yeah, there was some kind of, he needed some kind of extra sparkle to add to it, and it just wasn't there.
Yeah, whether it be a little more humor, I feel like, because normally he has some pretty good humor in his films, and I thought this one, it had a few funny moments with
here and there,
but yeah. And the other thing that kind of bothered me was because it's old Robert De Niro, when he's playing like young Robert De Niro, even though his face looked good because the CGI was good, but his movement just felt like an old guy in a young guy's body. Like when he's like curb stomping that guy, it looked like old Robert De Niro.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, when he was a kid or
younger.
He was younger.
Yeah.
They called him kid though. Like
yeah.
Pesci's character, hey kid, how you doing?
Yeah, what are you, 45?
Yeah, he looks stiff as hell.
You spring chicken who can barely walk down the street without a limp. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, that kind of threw me off. And I think that's just one of the many, like, just they're like subtle things that kind of throw you off from, like, just that, like, subconsciously sets your mind to go, like, this isn't real, I think. And I think that's what bothered me most, is there's just a lot of little things like that that kind of add up throughout the film. I don't know.
True. All right.
Overall, what would you rate it, though? Like, how you feeling rating wise? Like,
I guess if you're a really hardcore Scorsese fan, go ahead and watch it. But for most everybody else, I'd say it's a pass.
yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, where I still think it's worth, like, I don't think it's a waste of time. Like, I think it's worth watching, but I don't think it's ever something that, like, I'll never go back to it. Like, I'll go, yeah, that was a good thing to watch over 2 nights because I couldn't sit down and do it all at once. But, you know,
For me, it was a waste of time.
yeah. I think it's definitely overhyped, though, from where, like Oscar contender and all that, just compared to other films this year. Like, I feel like they're overhyping it strictly on Scorsese and the talent involved.
Yeah,
And that's it, because it is well acted, well made, just
I agree.
not that high of caliber, I think.
I agree.
Well, cool. I guess that was another episode. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.